deal, okay? I think we're gonna sell a ton of cupcakes.
Yeah.
Why? Because cupcakes are hot right now, and because we have a great name.
Cousins Cupcakes.
Boom.
We're going to the top.
All the way. Now, in order to get to the top, we're gonna have to come up with an amazing business model.
I came up with something that I think is going to blow your mind.
And I can't wait to see it.
Can I show you?
Please
Can I
do.
show you? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you for the first time the Cousins Cupcakes business model, Shelly.
For goodness, Kate, come to Cousins Cupcakes.
No. What is this? What is this?
What are you doing? Last week you said we needed a business model.
Not a business model.
Well, what then?
I'm talking about a business model.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom. Now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show, starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go!
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to...
Folks, growing up back in the day, I used to drive about 45 minutes to an hour almost every single morning to go work for a landscaper in Minnetonka, Minnesota. And occasionally, not every day, but occasionally about once a month or so, I would try to go to the Mall of America because at the time, this was a big deal. It still is a big deal. At the time, it was the largest mall in America. I don't know if it still is or isn't, but I know it's a massive mall here. And today's guest is joining us live from the Mall of America, Peter Taunton. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Hey, my brother. How are you?
I'm fine.
Hey, by the way, Clay, I mean, as always, thanks for accommodating my hectic schedule today, but I'm here for you. If you've got any school shopping that you need to do, Clay, this is the place to knock it out right here.
Now, I got to ask you this here. Now, are you, because you a lot of times will broadcast from Minnesota, but you also live in Florida, right? You have a couple different places that you call home. Is that right?
I do. You know what? I grew up in Minnesota, and this is where I was raised. And I come back here for the summers because, as you know, Florida gets a little bit sultry in the summer. So I come up here for about 4 months in the summer, and then I head back to Miami about October 1st. I'll be there from October till May.
Really? Okay. So you'll be back in Miami in October. So now you're kind of a guy who's able to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor. But for a lot of people out there that don't know the brands you've built, maybe they don't know they know of the brands you built, but they don't know you, or they don't know the connection between them. Can you kind of tell everybody out there who's hearing your voice for the first time, what have been some of the brands that you've been a part of building and developing all over the country?
Well, my first brand that was, when I talk about brands that I've tried, I mean, we've all, as entrepreneurs, we've all kind of kicked the can around. But the first real brand that I developed was Snap Fitness, a franchise brand that today has over 1,000 locations. And I started that brand about 25 years ago. But I've branched off from that now. I mean, Snap Fitness is one of my brands, 9 Round, Fitness on Demand. And I'm launching my 4th brand right now called Nautical Bowls. But for some reason, I've just had a lot of success in franchising. Today, I've got about 6,000 locations in 28 countries. And so for some reason, for me, franchising, it just always resonated. I think building systems, processes, and then most importantly, creating brands that are relevant with what the consumer is looking for today is what I attribute a lot of the success to. But you know as well as I do, you can't build brands without great people, and for that, I'm eternally grateful for all the people I've had the opportunity to work with along the last 35 years in business.
Now, what I'm going to do is Rochelle, she works as a physician's assistant for a medical practice, and she's in business, but in the medical space. And I work with entrepreneurs all over the country. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to dial back the big vision of where you're at now, broadcasting from the Mall of America, a man who's opened up over 6,000 plus locations, and I'm going to tie it back into really small business, see if you can help our listeners out there. I want to see if you could teach us how to build a brand that scales instead of a small business that fails. So what I see in small business is a lot of business owners, Peter, they read the motivational book. They've read the article, the book, they've watched the Tony Robbins series, they're fired up. But then they leave their weekly meeting and nothing gets done. So I want to start right there. How did the listeners out there go from being a small business where nothing actually gets done? A lot of visions, a lot of goals, a lot of dreams, but nothing actually gets executed. How could they go from that to being somebody who runs a small team of people where things actually get done?
Well, you know what? I mean, Clay, it's, I applaud everyone out there that aspires to be an entrepreneur. They all seem to have vision. They all visualize themselves in another capacity, being successful. They visualize it, but the hardest thing to do is really to make the jump, having the courage to make the jump. So for all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there, what I would tell you is, first and foremost, make sure whatever dream you're chasing, that it's relevant. That's absolutely key. Make sure that the product is relevant in the eyes of the consumer, and it's not just relevant to yourself. A lot of us have passion hobbies, and we want to develop that into a business. But the reality of it is, if the general population does not deem it relevant and worthy, they're not going to support it. Okay. So first and foremost, make sure that your product is relevant in the eyes of the consumer. Make sure that it delivers value. The second part of it is make sure it's not too technical. You and I both, we work with franchisees all the time. They have great concepts, but they make it so darn technical that you can't get any scale to it. So relevance, don't overthink it, make it overly technical. And if you can simplify the business, dummy it down, if you will, that'll allow you to scale it. Because think about it. You've got a product that's relevant in the eyes of the consumer. You've dummied it down, so now it's scalable. Now the last piece of it is you got to be able to make money. If you can check those three boxes, having a great product that's relevant, that's scalable, that makes money, if you can do those four things, you're going to be a successful franchisee. Now, clearly, you got to be able to create systems and processes and hire the human capital and the talent. But I tell you what, you don't have to worry about hiring people if you don't get the first four things right.
Now, after you get those first four things right, and let's say someone buys a Nautical Bowls franchise from you, or they own their own business today, and they have a product that's relevant, or a service that's relevant. They have systems that are in place that aren't complicated, and they just, it's like Monday is the deadline, and nothing got done by Monday. How do you manage people? Because I think a lot of small business owners get stuck. I do massive conferences, and I'll just tell people, when I do a conference, the next one we have is in Vegas, and there'll be over 5,000 people there. And I just will not put up with an incompetent audio-visual company. I use the same people every time because they're great. They're hardworking. I won't put up with an incompetent video crew. I will not put up with an incompetent guitarist or drummer or any of the production team. Everybody has to be focused in. And so I just don't put up with jackassery. That's sort of my pro tip. But I'd love to get your thoughts on, if someone buys a great system, but someone won't follow it, how do you deal with that?
Well, first of all, I got to applaud you. Anyone could be an all-star if you set the bar at your ankles. So I am with you. I set high standards for myself, and I set high standards for the people around me. But in franchising, truly, the every great franchise out there has got to be able to create a roadmap. You got to create the textbook. And honestly, I put that on the shoulders of the franchisor. It's up to me as the franchisor to teach people how to fish, to teach people how to make money in a space where I'm an expert. That's on my shoulders. So I'm going to give them, with our franchise system, we put together a 30-day plan of action. Literally break it down day by day. This is what you've got to do. And I tell people, hey, look, When you get to day number 30, go back to day number 1 and start over again and do that 12 times a year. So I don't play around with people. I say, look, this business, the business, it's not overly sexy. You're going to be successful. You're going to make money, which is every entrepreneur's dream. It's very scalable. You can have multiple stores. But look, the secret sauce of success is consistency in taking the right action. Working smart, being diligent, have a daily plan of action, and then follow that action every day. Don't wander off. Don't deviate. Don't overthink it. Stick to the plan, and you'll be successful.
Folks, this stuff is great. You just said, I hope I'm not getting the quote wrong. I was typing it up here. You said the secret sauce of success is taking the daily consistent action. Am I getting that right there, Peter?
No, that's exactly right. And that's, you know what, you're a hugely successful individual. You wouldn't be where you are today, Clay, without taking consistent action in areas that move the needle. In other words, taking material action. We see people all the time. They say, Peter, I'm so busy. Well, they're like a dog chasing their tail. They're busy, but they're not busy in the right areas. So for us as franchisors, we got to make sure we keep them focused on the material, the big movers. Keep them focused on the material items and say, look, this is what you got to do every day. And I promise you, Clay, if I have a franchisee that's not succeeding, if they're underperforming, I go right back to that daily journal and I track the daily journal against what they're actually doing. And it's the variance there where the truth lies. The variance is where the truth lies. Look, it's not that they're not busy. It's not that they're not working hard. It's just that they're focused on the wrong thing. And that's, once again, as a franchisor, you got to own that. You got to own that. You got to make sure that you can create a narrative that people can understand and comprehend. And you got to speak to people differently because not everyone learns the same way. That's part of growing successful brands. There's a lot of responsibility and accountability as the franchisee, but I think it starts with the franchisor. You got to understand how people learn. Yep. You got to be able to break it down. You got to be able to break it down and give people a path to success. That's on me. That's on you. And then the franchisees have to put in the work.
And what we're going to do here on this next part of the show is I'm going to let Rochelle ask you some questions because she's building a small business. She works in a small business that's growing, and then they're reaching patients now all over the country at meehanmd.com. And then we're going to try to tag team and sell Rochelle a Nautical Bowls franchise. That's what we're going to try to do here. So Rochelle, in your practice right now in the business Meehan MD, where you work there, what question would you have for Peter Taunton about growing that particular brand? Because this guy has helped to open up 6,000 brand locations.
Sure. So one of the questions I had was, how do you determine what's relevant to people? How do you keep that consistent? How do you keep ahead of the game or in par for course with the game? What if that changes? Do you then change your model and where you're going, or how do you determine relevancy?
Well, you know what, first and foremost, the relevance, before I ever start a franchise, in my mind, I'm creating something and I think the product is relevant. Why? Because I'm passionate about it, but that can't be the litmus test. Okay. I can't create a concept in a vacuum. Yes, I'm going to design it. I'm going to get it to where I think it needs to be, but then I'm going to open a pilot location. This is before I ever franchise, because I need to make sure the dogs will eat the dog food. Right. I got to make sure I can put it out in the general population, and the population is going to see the value of what it is that I'm selling. Once I have that, then I just put scale and trajectory behind it, which is all marketing dollars, human capital. I do what I need to do to launch a successful brand. I never go into things half-cocked. So when I go into a brand, I got to make sure that I've got enough dry powder, meaning working capital. I've got enough dry powder behind me to launch the brand in specific areas to start getting traction. Okay, Now, once the brand is up and running, now I've got to make sure that I stay relevant, because everything, I don't care what it is, everything evolves. It just does. And that's part of the responsibility and the accountability of the franchisor. They got to see what's going on in the marketplace as it relates to their space, and make sure that they're on the front edge of that and they're evolving with consumer behavior. That's the other sign of a great franchise brand. I mean, if you think about it, look at all the big ones. Look at, McDonald's. Look at all the evolution that they've done in their process to stay relevant within their space. So once again, Your job is not done. Once you launch a successful brand, that's step one. Yeah, you got 3, 4, 500, 1,000 locations. But look, once you've got 1,000 locations, number one, you're in a very, very elite class. But number two, now you've got 1,000 people that are looking at you, hoping that you get up every day fighting the good fight, which is understanding the industry and understanding how the evolution of the industry is taking place, and then being able to gradually pivot along with that evolution. That's franchising.
You know, with a rental property, I think about this, Peter. One of my rental properties, I just acquired a particular property, and one of the things that I'm trying to do is, and this is the kind of stuff you think about when you open a franchise. You think about your big idea, but then you got to break it down to the most specific small steps. So small step number one is, can people find it? So what I've been doing recently is giving people the address and saying, here's where you go, and here's the directions. And so far, I've determined that nobody can find it because this particular property, it doesn't do the Google Map thing. And so I'm working right now on getting the directions so that everybody can find it. So this weekend, it was my first successful person who says, I found it. And I'm going, yes, because I had to took the time to make the directions. Well, then when someone checks into the home, you have to have, okay, if somebody wants to rent a boat, can they conveniently find the boat? Do you have a kind of a book they can open up of all the phone numbers to call, all the nearby waterfront restaurants, the place to rent the boat? And you think about all these details, how to turn on the water, how to turn the water off, where where all the utilities are located. You have to think about all the small steps, the email, how to respond to potential inquiries that want to stay at said property, how to price it. I mean, there's all that goes into it, and you go round and round with different iterations. But once you nail it, it's awesome because you can scale it. And so you've been obsessively working on nautical bowls. And if people go into a nautical bowls location, I mean, you've thought about the sights, the sounds, the smells, the logo, the color scheme, the ambiance, the ideal location, the ideal and likely buyers, the advertisements that work. You've thought about all those details. Can you walk us through? I know it's a kind of a longer form question, but could you walk us through the kind of myopic obsession that you put in to nailing down a brand before you franchise it?
Well, you know what? It's coincidentally, Clay, today we're at Nautical Bowls University, and I've got 20 people in from around the country that are all franchisees that have stores opening here in the next 45 to 60 days. And I usually lead up every training session. And today I told them, hey, look, there's a few things that you think about, but find comfort knowing that some of those things we've taken care of for you. Number one, when your guest walks in the store, the first impression that they receive before they ever meet any of the staff, what is the energy that they feel within the space? You know, our locations, they've got a great vibe. It's kind of a surfy beach type feeling, great music. It's very inviting and it's very peaceful to the consumer when they walk into our store. So we know that we can check that box. The consumer is going to love the energy and the vibe of the store. The second piece is the product. Okay, I know that my product is better than anyone else's. I compete with Playa, Vitality Bowls. Pick every one of the competitors. No one's bowl is better than my bowl, bar none. I mean, and I'm a tough critic. And if I tasted someone's bowl and there was better than mine, I would dig into it. I would find out what makes it better. So think about it. I've got a great store with great energy, great vibe. Secondly, I've got a great product. Okay, now here's where it gets tricky. The third part. What kind of a culture can I create within my four walls? What is my connection with the community? And that's where the rubber hits the road, because there's many people that have got a great business with a great product, but they suck at making money. Why? Because they don't know how to blow in the ear of the consumer. So you've got to be able to make that connection. And that's what we cover in training. We say, look, don't worry about the look and feel of the store. I got that for you. So don't worry about the product. I've got that for you too. Let's focus on the culture. How can I help you hire the right people and create the right energy? Get staff that's going to lean in, smile easily, help people through the ordering process, make people feel appreciated, and connect with people. And not just with the people that walk in your store. The last step of it is, I got to help you connect with the community, because that's how you create long-term loyalty in the community that you serve. So and to your point earlier, Clay, look, if you're going to win in this business, you got to think on both sides of the track. You got to think about, as the franchisor, you got to be able to check every one of the boxes. But then very quickly, before you start taking people's hard-earned money, You've got to put yourself in the shoes of the franchisee and say, look, have I missed anything? Because when a great franchise, you almost have to write a book, Franchising for Dummies. Okay, and I mean that in a loving way. But look, I got to dummy this thing down. So when my franchisee comes in, I could say, look, do these 4 or 5 things. Just do these 4 or 5 things. Do that every day, every week, and you're going to be successful. You deviate from these things. If you only do 2 or 3 of these 5 things, you're going to have challenges. I'm not saying that you're not going to make money. I'm just saying you're not going to optimize your revenue generating opportunities. Follow my 5 steps and I'll get you to the promised land of financial freedom. It's your choice. It's not mine. I'm going to teach you, but you got to take the action.
That right there is so powerful. And I want people to know this right now. I'm going to give you the secret sauce, folks. If you're out there today and you buy an OxyFresh franchise, which I've helped to grow now, we have 500 locations, or a Tip Top Canine, or you buy a Nautical Bulls. I'm just going to speak specifically to OxyFresh and Tip Top Canine owners out there who are listening, or people who want to be. There's 5 things you got to do every week. You have to get Google reviews from customers that don't hate you. You have to do it. This just in, people read reviews. You've got to get reviews. Second thing, these are for you got to get video reviews every week, got to get video reviews. Third, you got to train the heck out of those dogs or clean the heck out of that carpet. You have to do that. You got to wow the customer before you get those reviews. Fourth thing, you've got to do interviews. You've always got to interview new talent that's willing to follow those checklists and those systems. And finally, you've got to measure what you treasure. You've got to get every single person, every week, you got to measure what you treasure. Look at your numbers, look at those numbers, make sure there's no drifting. And if you'll do that, you will be successful. And why I'm so excited here about this Nautical Bulls franchise is that it's a healthy food. It's healthy food. It's on trend. People are looking for healthy food. It fills a niche. People, busy moms and dads, are looking for healthy food. It tastes great. It checks those boxes. And you have to have very few employees. I mean, if you open up a Tip Top Canine franchise, you're going to have someone who trains the dogs, somebody who feeds the dogs. And it's a 24-hour operation. That's why the profit margins are nice, and that's why people love it. But if you own a Nautical Bulls, you can turn the lights off and go home. It's done. And how many people do you have to have working in a store, Peter? I mean, how many people have to work with 50 people, 20 people? How many people have to work in the store to make it work?
No, and that's the other beautiful part in my concept. And once again, that's something that I thought about. 1 full-time employee, 10 to 15 part-timers. This is a simple business. I say all the time, this is a lemonade stand on steroids. Okay, this is a lemonade stand on steroids. It's a simple business. About 80% of my franchisees are semi-absentee owners, meaning they didn't quit their day job. Okay, this is their side business. This is a fantastic business. Look, in 2 years, I've awarded 175 territories. I've opened 53 locations. I'm opening 3 to 5 new stores every month. We are by far the fastest growing acai bowl concept in the country. Look, it's not a race for us, but this is not dumb luck. It's not beginner's luck. It comes from systems, processes, diligence, and you know what? For me, just like you, Clay, I've got my track record speaks for itself. I've taken 3 brands and grown them to well over 1,000 locations.
Yep.
And that comes by systems, processes, checks and balances, and simplicity, creating brands and business models that are not too technical. And that's the secret sauce, really.
Now, Rochelle, I'm going to try to sell you a franchise. Okay, so ask if you were thinking about buying a Nautical Bulls franchise. And again, I know you do a great job at Meehan MD, but let's just say you wanted to keep that full-time job, seeing patients that you care about, while also having a little income generating machine on the side. What rapid fire questions would you have for Peter?
So, how much time is it going to cost me as the owner, as the franchise owner? How much time per week would it cost for an investment of me to?
Well, but you know, it varies. The first couple of months with the stores, the franchisee might be spending a little bit more time, maybe 10 to 15 hours a week, maybe. Okay, for the first couple of months. But many of our franchisees today, their stores been open for 6 to 8 months. They're probably spending 4 to 6 hours a week on their business. But the other side of it is, we've got technology where without physically being in the store, you can track the revenue, the food costs, labor costs, everything is right there. Just like we're looking at computer screens right now, I can still have my hand on the pulse of business without physically being in my store. And you know what? In today's day and age, that's where it's at. People don't want to have to physically be places. They like to have flexibility. They can manage the business from home. which doesn't restrict them from traveling and doing what they need to do. Hey, look, I personally own a store in Miami. I've stepped foot in that store maybe 5 times in the last year. So that's how much time I spend in the store. That doesn't mean I don't have my hand on the pulse of the business, but I don't need to physically be in the store to help drive revenue in that store. Big difference between this, my concept, and others, which is why it's so attractive. And also the relevance. You know what? We're not dessert. We're a meal replacement. So our bowls, they're plant-based, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, organic, all natural ingredients. We're a meal replacement. So people have it for breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, mid-afternoon snack to tide them over before dinner. And some people have it for dinner. You know, you're not going to go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for dinner and then go to Nautical Bowls for dessert. That's not us. We're not dessert. We're a meal replacement. And the consumer is starting to understand that about our space. We're in the healthy, fast casual space, and it's the number one category within the restaurant space. So it's a very hot category to be in.
Now, as far the final 60 seconds here, for people out there that want to buy a Nautical Bowls franchise or are interested in doing so, I'll put a link on the show notes to the website, nauticalbowls.com. How much money does someone need to bring to the table there, Peter? Final 60 seconds, or how much money do they have to bring to the table?
Look, that's another part. You need $100,000 cash. So we have financing available for you. If you have $100,000 cash between you and your partner, come to the table with $100,000 cash. You need a FICO score of 750 or higher, and your last 2 years tax return. If you bring those 3 things, if you can check those boxes, I'll get you financed. No problem. So that's the other part of it. This is a very, very attractive business for a minimal investment of $100,000 cash to get into the business. So we finance your loan for 10 years for you, no penalty for early payoff. That's the other side of winning in franchising. You got to have flexibility. You got to make it easy for people to get into business. And when you can do that, when you can make business affordable, you help people chase their dreams. And that's what this is all about, helping people find their way to financial freedom and independence.
Peter Taunton, thank you so much for carving out time for us. Hope you have a great rest of your shopping day there, sir. And do you still have the big Lego? Is there a big Lego theme park there still in the middle of the Mall of America? Is that a real thing?
There is. And that's what my fiance's kids are doing. They're at Legoland, just having the time of their life. So we're just having lunch and killing an afternoon. But as always, man, I appreciate your patience. Thanks for letting me hop on here at this, all the distractions going on around me. But I appreciate you, brother, and I'll catch you next week.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. That they taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that would sound super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income, but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.